Yesterday was a fun day. I sold a vehicle that turned out to be a win-win-win-win-win. Uh, my buyer won as I agreed to knock 26% off of my asking price, and he got a solid Toyota truck that's road ready, and I feels ready for the next 100,000 miles. Um, the guys down at Dennis Johnson, my auto repair guys, they won because they got about a $600 repair deal out of it to get the thing road ready, and then got me to brag about them to five or six people that called about the truck before I sold it. Al, my windshield guy, won because he got paid for a windshield install, and learned about some new resources that I knew about that he didn't know about while we were talking during the installation. Um, and the seller and the auction that they used won because I'll certainly be back to buy more. And yes, I won also because uh, I've got another happy customer. I've got happy suppliers, and even with the discount I gave them, I still had a 58% return on my total investment, um, a 58% profit return on my total investment from a truck that had 430,000 miles on it. Plus, uh, I'll probably be getting calls for the next month from all the bilingual flyers that I put up at job sites within a mile radius of my lot. So today on episode 141 of Flipping Genius, I'm going to share some money making ideas and some other ideas that will most likely lead you to making more money, all with the intention of creating as many wins for as many parties that are involved as possible. And since winter has apparently arrived here in Alabama, let's call this the fireside chat episode. If you buy and sell vehicles for a profit or you want to, you're in the right place. This is the Flipping Genius podcast. Our number one goal is to help our listeners make more money. Every episode, we share information, ideas, and experiences of real-life car flippers. I'm Randy Lee. I'm the host of Flipping Genius. I've flipped cars most of my life. For over a dozen years now, I've been a licensed dealer. I am working to build the best podcast about successfully flipping cars for a consistent profit. Let's get to it, flippers. In case you don't know or you don't remember, the fireside chats were a series of radio addresses given by President Franklin Roosevelt between 1933 and 1944. So that's what popped into my head and inspired the background setting for this episode. If you're listening, you obviously can't see the fireplace behind me, and this is a good time for me to remind you that all 140 other episodes of Flipping Genius are available on audio pretty much wherever podcasts are heard, and most of them are also available on video as well at our Flipping Genius YouTube channel, and it's all available at flippinggenius.com, flippinggenius.com, only one G. Hey, I mentioned earlier my bilingual flyers, uh, and in case you haven't heard me talk about those, allow me to elaborate on that again because it is a something I use, and it can be very beneficial. When I have a truck or a work van, especially, I use a flyer that is English on one side and Spanish on the other side. I just do two columns. Hang on one second. I'm going to pause this and I'll grab a flyer to show you. Okay, so if you're watching, you can see this. So there's a picture of my the most recent flyer, and you can see right here, if you're watching video, you can see the one difference. I everything is the same except for one line, and that line basically says that I don't speak Spanish, but I welcome Spanish-speaking buyers. This time it just said I don't speak Spanish. I didn't put that last part in there, but that goes without saying, I guess. If I'm putting this up in Spanish, I'd love to sell to folks that speak Spanish. Now, in my part of the United States, a high percentage of the workers on building sites are Spanish speakers. So I find it very beneficial to carry these flyers to those job sites and pass them out when possible. I don't want to interrupt anybody's day, but I'll put them in their hands. Say hola and hand them the flyer. If they start talking to me, I'll say no hablo en español, and then I'll point to the side that's in Spanish so they can see what we're talking about. Most of them speak a little bit of English, and we can go from there. And I tape them wherever I can. The front of dumpsters, porta potties, and any other surface where they'll be seen and I won't offend anybody. And I could do this with any vehicle that I'm selling, but I find that it works best with trucks and vans. So that's when I do it the most, use that technique the most. And occasionally I'll put a line in there that I buy cars, trucks, and vans, or even just put my bandit signs up at those places too. I don't do that very often because it would make most of the builders mad, but I've never had any complaints with just the flyers. But that's something I do, and you know, again, to the idea of trying to create win-win situations. Certainly, I feel really good about inviting those folks to call me and let them know that I'm interested in doing business with them, and I am. It's very beneficial to me to open that up. And I have tried to learn a little bit of Spanish along the way, and will continue to do that. Hard to teach an old dog new tricks, and I'm definitely an old dog, but I encourage you to do the same thing. And it's an opportunity to extend your reach in both buying and selling vehicles, as well as everything else that can come from that, as far as suppliers as well. So because certainly some of these guys will know people that can do everything from detailing to transmission work to, you know, open up those networks, open up new opportunities. So that's one idea I wanted to share with you. And I know I've shared it with you before. I apologize that I'm duplicating that, but it's just fresh in my mind. And I don't know that I've ever been able to actually show you the video. I show it on video, and forgive me the guys that are not watching, but this is available. And if you would like me to email you a copy of exactly what I use, I'll be happy to send you a PDF of this exact flyer that I just used with some success on this little Toyota truck. And just send me an email at flippingquestions@gmail.com. Let me know you're looking for that, and I'll fire it back to you. Free of charge. So much of this stuff is free of charge. I do want to remind you while I'm thinking about it, we are happy to receive any money, as you know, because I like money. But one way that Flipping Genius does generate some revenue is from our flipping partners, flipping team members, and flipping champions, which if you go to the website, you can see what's available there, and there's some benefit to you. Our goal is to help you make more money, and in those programs, we're put in a position where we can do that more directly, and would love to do that. And of course, you can also be a subscriber, which is a token amount, but it all adds up. So, and if you don't want to do any of that, at least subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's very important that we build those numbers, and I thank you for the hundreds of you who have, and I'm trying to get it above 1,000 because that's a key number for those of us who spend hours and hours doing this stuff. You'd like to get a nickel or two because the nickels add up. I'm going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about more ways that we can make more money. Okay, we're talking about ways for you to make money. One that comes to mind real quick, because it's something that I'm planning on doing personally, is wholesale. Wholesale your vehicles and just move on. I've got a few vehicles right now that I plan to do that, and I will most likely use the dealer auction to move some of these vehicles out, and I believe I'll make a small profit. My profit will be smaller. I've had a couple cars for longer than I'd like to have them, and there's a couple issues with them that I would rather sell them to another dealer who can take care of them in-house than sell them to the public. But another way is to sell them directly to another dealer who you're disclosing what the situation is, and you can work out something. Or a third way is to actually wholesale that vehicle to the public, and what I'm thinking about there is in that case is really what I try to do all the time is have full disclosure about my vehicles. So in a situation like that, I am sharing with the public exactly what's wrong with it. Like, for instance, I've got a vehicle right now that's going to need new tires, new brakes, needs some front end work. That's about it. But and I am trying to been trying to wholesale that one, but it hasn't moved yet. But if somebody were to buy it, they're going to buy it knowing all that needs to be repaired. So obviously that's not really a retail sale, but knowing what I know about legally about the business, I've got to disclose that, and I've got to be very careful that I'm dealing with somebody that understands that situation, and therefore, given the time that I've invested in it, I'll probably just move that to an auction so I can be out of it. Now, when you do sell at auction, you got to recognize you're going to have additional costs because there's fees at the auction. I deal in 2 auctions here locally. Most of the time, Dealer Auto Auction, which is a regional auction house that has, I think, about 8 or 10 locations in the Southeast. I think they may be some other places too, but they're located in Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama. As far as I know, they may be some other places too. Insurance Auto Auction, which is all across the country. And they both have different fees. The fees at dealers are substantially more, on the selling side. They are less on the buying side, although they've increased. Insurance Auto Auction, on the other hand, makes it pretty inexpensive to sell. I think it's just $100. I don't know if there's a limit on that deal. I don't sell through auction that much. It's more expensive on the buying side. These numbers are very significant. There's Copart Auction is another one that I've used to sell from. I generally only sell there on a vehicle that is almost a scrap vehicle, because I find that that's usually, I'm not getting people who are wanting to buy. In my case, I've got a couple of the vehicles I'm thinking about selling are really retail ready. I'm just thinking I'd rather sell them this way, especially because right now auction prices are high. So I think especially if I put 2 or 3 or 4 vehicles through the auction at one time, it gives me a little more credibility. Whereas if I'm selling just one vehicle, typically the other dealers see that and think, it must be a junk vehicle, and they want to buy it at a junk price, and I don't want to do that. I would rather sell it to a individual or to another dealer and just be able to disclose everything, because that's the problem with an auction is the buyer, it's buyer beware, and they don't know what you're trying to hide. They may even you may even talk to somebody and tell them what exactly it is, but they're figuring it's at the auction, so there's some other things you're hiding, and and they are probably correct. I mean, they're in most cases, but I honestly I will try to tell them everything about it in any one of these situations, because that's just how I would want somebody to treat me. But this is a way to move some vehicles, especially if it's something that you feel like you've had a little bit too much time. There are opportunities, and this, as of right now, this is October 19th, 2022, and we are in a situation right now where used cars are still in demand. I think we're seeing some changes coming up. I tell you this date because I know that you may be listening to this at a different time, and what the supply and demand of used cars are in the market affects everything. I would probably be having a different conversation with you maybe a year from now or a year ago. But that's the current situation. I think I can move these cars at a reasonable profit and take the money and reinvest. And that's keeping the money rolling is an important part of the car business, especially in the car business that I'm in. I know some of you are only flipping one car at a time, and you're hoping to not ever have to do this, but that you should not close your mind to this opportunity, because if you've got a vehicle that can be wholesaled at a reasonable profit, it gives you an opportunity to move forward. Now, if you've got loads and loads of time invested into something, then you want to sell it for a profit. Hopefully, you're not in a situation where you have to sell it, right away. But if you are, if you get in that situation where you need to get the money out, this is something that you can do, a proactive situation. You could either take the vehicle to the auction, or you can go call on car dealers and say, I've got a car. Here's the situation. I need to move this thing to get my money back out of it and move forward. And you just be straight up with people, and there's a good chance you'll find somebody that will buy that vehicle, and you will turn a profit, just not as much as if you were selling it to the general public as a finished product. So there's the second idea. I'm going to take a little break and come back with some more ideas. This is going to be great. All right. Hey, I wanted to, while I'm thinking about it, I want to thank Mike and Ryan for calling me out a little bit. I'm trying my best to get on a consistent pattern of keeping this thing going. In the past few weeks, like I mentioned, I had some personal stuff come up and didn't hit right on the mark. Today, I'm recording this on Wednesday, which I usually try to have it out before now, but hopefully it'll be out Wednesday night. But hey, I appreciate you guys just letting me know that you missed it, because we do have thousands and thousands of listeners, and it's really exciting. We've got a lot of folks, like I said, that are subscribing on the YouTube channel. I ask everybody who's listening right now to do that. But sometimes you wonder if you don't get any direct feedback. So Mike, Ryan, I appreciate you guys reaching out to me this week and just saying, hey, where's the next episode? So here it is. While I'm thinking about the auction format, I talked about wholesaling a moment ago. As another auction thing, and I probably have mentioned it before, but it's been a while, and this could be a really good idea. I don't know if it'll work everywhere, but and I have not done it in a while. As a matter of fact, I might be making ways for me to make more money, not just you, because this is what I think I'm gonna I'm going to present this idea, but as another auction idea. It's called an estate auction. You probably have them in your area. Estate auctions here in Alabama, the way that they work is the buyer pays the fee, as rather than the seller. So if they're typically selling real estate, and then there's also some other items that are being included in the auction. And one of the things that's frequently involved is the deceased person's vehicle, but not always. And a lot of older folks, of course, are passing away and they don't have a vehicle at all. But a vehicle can be added to that estate, and the auctioneer is sometimes willing to do that. I've got a personal relationship with one here, and we can put a vehicle into an estate, and it's actually a separate sale. It doesn't go directly with the auction, but it's sold at the same time. And the benefit to the auctioneer is he's got a $5,000 or $10,000 vehicle that he gets a 10% commission on. That commission is actually paid by the buyer, and not by you. It's a relatively genius way to sell a car, but it's a situation where I don't feel comfortable unless I've got a pretty solid vehicle to sell that way, because it represents me, it represents him, and in a way it represents the estate too. So I actually have a vehicle that falls right into this. It's a nice looking Chevy that I haven't had a buyer hit on yet, and I'm thinking this may be a perfect way to possibly even get a higher bid than I would on a one-on-one sale. In an auction situation, you've got emotion, you've got competition, you've got ego, and this very well could be the perfect place for me to sell this one vehicle. I'm talking to myself while I'm talking to you. And like I said, the seller pays the fee, so it's free to you, and that's a great opportunity. Other than just getting the vehicle there, making sure the title work is taken care of, and the beautiful thing is you set your limits. So, like in this particular vehicle, I'm looking to get $4,000 for it. I would probably be willing to take 3,200 for it, and I'd be happy, especially if I'm not paying any fees out of pocket. So I just tell them anything above 3,200, I'm locked in. We're good. And if we can't get to 3,200, then he just doesn't sell it, and I just go retrieve it, and maybe we put it in another auction at some point else, or I just pull it away. But we're not locked into selling it unless we do an absolute, where we say this vehicle's absolute. You could do that too. You could. I've got some other vehicles there that I'm considering. We could put them in an estate auction and say these two vehicles are going absolute. They're as is, where is, and and people would have a chance to look at them beforehand and make their determination, just like at a regular auction. But the situation here is you don't have any competition. You don't have any competing cars, and hopefully you've got a group of 10, 20 investors or bidders of some sort who may be interested. Now, the downside is maybe only one or two are even considering buying a vehicle. They're there to look at a property, but the auctioneer actually does some promotion, and he will most likely get some interested parties there, because it's in his best interest to sell it. Again, win, win, win. This is very much a win-win, and that transaction is going to be immediate. So that's pretty exciting. Another idea, another idea we don't want to leave on the table is trade. Trade opportunities can open new doors, but choose your words wisely. Uh, for example, you can say all trades considered, but realize when you say all trades considered, you may get somebody who wants to trade you a tractor or a guitar or a night's lodging at a hotel or anything, all trades considered. And maybe you're willing to do that. That's fine. But realize words have power. Uh, Trade-ins welcome. I like to use that. I find that when I say all trades considered, a lot of times it encourages people to just want to do a one-on-one trade, which I may consider, but I'm only going to do that if the situation is wholly in my favor. I'm in this to make money. So if I'm trading something, I'm going to want to come out in the better deal of that, which you can, but usually I find out it's usually one of you guys wanting to trade with me, and you're trying to trade something that's worth $2,000 for the thing that I know is worth 4,000. And God bless you. That's fine, but just be prepared for that. Another you can craft this a lot of ways, but when you're using this type of terminology, realize, like I said, the words you use will mean something to people. Another thing that you could say is asking X number of dollars cash, let's say $5,000 cash, or the trade equivalent. I like that one because it does open the door to other things. I personally will trade for things. Sometimes I'll even say willing to trade for real estate. I've gotten a couple bites on that before, so I don't laugh completely, because I would love to trade for land, trade a vehicle for land, and that is sometimes doable, but you won't get it unless you ask. And another thing, I'm going to say it again. You guys who've listened to all 140 episodes before this have heard me talk about this before, but consider joining a local, regional, or national barter exchange. I cannot tell you how much this has benefited me over the years. It creates an opportunity for business that you'll get no other way. I mean, this year I have purchased one vehicle and sold two others in deals that involved no cash in the transaction. These were three of my most profitable transactions, and it's largely, they were profitable largely due to the balance of supply and demand being in my favor. And knowing how this works, I only use barter exchanges for vehicles when this is the case. If you want more information about this, I'll be happy to elaborate. Just ask me about it. Email me or ask me on the Flipping Forum. I'll be happy to share more about this. It's something that is a big life-changing deal for my family. So I that's why you hear me talk about it a lot. So you just reach out to me, flippingquestions@gmail.com, or go to the Car Flipping Forum and ask me there. But trades, and hey, while we're on the subject, some of you guys got a lot more experience with this type of thing, the direct trade, than I do, and I would love to have some of you come share your stories with me on the microphone, or just send me the story if you want, and I'll share it. But I'd love to have some other voices on here, and I've got some other folks that are talking to me about doing it, but we haven't locked anything down lately, and I know that you'd like to hear somebody other than me too, and see somebody other than me. So let me know. Just reach out to me and tell me what you got to share, and let's make that happen. Hey, I want to remind all licensed dealers to be certain you have met the requirements for the Federal Trade Commission's safeguard rules. Now, I've spoke about this at length in the past few episodes, but with that December 9th, 2022 deadline looming, I just want to be certain that I'm making you aware of this. And if you still don't know what it is, reach out to me and ask. Along these lines, I also want to recommend that you check with better yet than reaching out to me, check with your local Independent Auto Dealers Association. If you're not a member, and you're a licensed dealer, I think you ought to join, but that's up to you. Still reach out to them. They will try to help you, even if you're not a paying member. That's just the kind of folks they are. And also check with your state to be certain that you're following all of the rules. Rules like recall notifications. This is a big one. You've got to make sure that you've done a recall search and that you're notifying your buyers of what recalls are open. Displaying those buyer's guides properly on your vehicles, on your lot. Now, this is again licensed dealers, but a lot of you are either licensed dealers or you're on your way towards it. And I just want to make sure a proper display of signage and then ultimately also the storage of your customers' information, which goes back to these safeguard rules that I'm talking about. For a long time, a lot of these rules have just been ignored. I know they are, because I see my competitive dealers ignoring them right in my backyard. And the fines can be hefty, and in some cases the state regulatory bodies are actually hiring outside private firms to police this enforcement. So they have they're not just a state employee. They're practically working on commission to come and fine us. It's a little scary. So take care of the problems that you can take care of. Do the things you can manage. Control the things you can control is what I'm trying to think of, and protect yourself. Like I said, the fines can be very hefty, and it is very costly, and possibly could cause the complete destruction of your business. I don't want to dwell on this stuff, but I feel a responsibility to you. And yeah, our number one goal on Flipping Genius is to help you make more money. And in order to continue doing that, it's vital to be certain that there's not a way that it all can be taken away from you. And that's why I'm talking about it again. So forgive me for crying wolf or whatever, but this is important stuff. And on that happy note, I want to invite you to reach out to me at flippingquestions@gmail.com or on the Car Flipping Forum if I can help answering these questions, or if I can point you to somebody that can. And like I said, reach out to your local association and your state to find the answers too. But I'll be happy to do my part. Just email me flippingquestions@gmail.com or at the Car Flipping Forum. And if you're not a member of the Car Flipping Forum, it's free to join. Free. Just search Flipping Genius under Facebook groups, and you'll find the Car Flipping Forum will pop up as first thing. Answer a couple questions. You're in. You can ask me. You can ask any of the other members. We're approaching 1,000 members. All of you guys are flippers all around the world and on different levels. And the guys and gals are always, they're there to help each other. And I'm trying to encourage that more and more and more. So if you're on there, please be active. Please share. Please ask. Please, tell the stories. Everybody loves hearing the stories too. So please do that. And consider becoming a flipping team member, a flipping partner, or a flipping champion. And those are all folks that we're directly involved in trying to help you build your business, depending on what level you choose. And save us as a favorite so you don't miss any podcasts. I'm trying to get this on regular rotation again. The business has been good in a variety of different ways, and it's keeping me hopping. And that's why I'm late again on Wednesday. I'm 12 hours behind right now. Right now, as I look at the clock, it's 6 p.m. I like to have this out at 6 a.m. I'm sorry about that, but we're gonna push the button and it'll be out so you can hear it soon. But I ask you to forgive me on that. Please save us as a favorite. You'll get notified when a new podcast comes out. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We've got I've got some new equipment that I'm working with. I'm hoping to start doing some more live videos. It on location at auctions and at the car lot and other things that I can show you. So that'll make the YouTube channel even more important than it is already. So please search Flipping Genius that's our YouTube channel, and subscribe so you don't miss anything. Very important too. I mean, obviously, everything I do, I try to make you more money. I try to make me more money too. So it's important that we build up the numbers and that we have a good interaction with you guys, and try to provide you with good information that can help you. And I thank you so much for those of you who have written to me and expressed that we have helped, because I want to be know that I'm investing my time well. So thank you very much. Yeah, so subscribe to the YouTube channel. Visit our website, flippinggenius.com, FLIPPINGENIUS.com. Only one G. If you're watching the video, you see it right above my head right now. And if you're not watching the video, you can, but if you're just listening on the podcast, thank you. And it's FLIPPINGENIUS.com. Please visit the website. You can see everything Flipping Genius on there, everything I've just talked about. And you can also see our resources page, which is loaded with good deals and suggestions and information that can help you with your flipping business. And please share Flipping Genius with anyone that you think it will interest or help. That's how we get wider and bigger and get more information and get more folks sharing information I can share with you. Hey, let's work together. Let's make some money. Let's all become flipping geniuses.